So it might be because I've been playing Final Fantasy VII lately, the original, not the remake, which by the way is one of my favorite games of all time. I know the remake is good and all, but the original just has a special place in my heart. But part of what makes this game so great is as you're progressing through the game and the story's developing and you're learning about the characters, there's this aspect of the game where your character is leveling up. And part of what makes the game so fun is as you progress through the game and you're starting to get stronger and stronger, your character starts learning these new spells and skills, and it makes the game super fun. And it just kind of got me thinking that this is not quite so different than how we progress through this life. And as we go through this adventure of life, how we gain new knowledge and new skills and we start learning new things too. And what got me really thinking about this was about 4 weeks ago, I decided to learn how to handstand. And so it started off a couple Saturdays ago, April 11th. I was kicking up against the wall, trying to hold a handstand, and fast forward to today, I started to do handstand walks and start incorporating them into my workouts. And of course, in the beginning, it was super difficult. I remember my wrists were really hurting that very first day. I was having trouble kicking up to the wall and balancing, and my fingertips even went numb the first couple of days. It was weird because I kept getting these like super mild headaches too from just being upside down for so long. But now fast forward a couple weeks later, I started to move away from the wall and I started actually to take steps with my hands, balancing for a couple seconds at a time. And I just want to share with you guys that yesterday I just had this moment of clarity where I kicked up to a handstand and everything just ended up being perfect. I was perfectly balanced, no muscles were really firing all that hard, I was just perfectly straight, and it seemed like everything in the world in that moment was just right. And it was one of those things where it was an experience that I hadn't felt before. The perfect harmony of being upside down on my hands, but being balanced and feeling just like it was so natural. And in that moment, I just felt this deep-seated happiness, this satisfaction experiencing something that I'd never experienced before. Something where just a few weeks ago, it felt so awkward and strange, but all of a sudden just felt so natural and so right in that moment. And in that moment, all I could think of was like Final Fantasy VII. Level up. It was like I was feeling just this new amazing experience that I hadn't had before. And it was like unlocking this new skill or this new spell in this adventure of life. And because of COVID, I've been doing this outside in the sun because the gym's closed. And oh my gosh, just look at this tan line. I'm like a different person underneath. And you know, I felt that way other times recently too. About 3 seasons ago, I decided to take up snowboarding when a friend convinced us all to go on a trip together. And again, it was a very similar type of experience. At first, the feeling was super strange, super awkward. I couldn't get my balance. I was falling all the time. Overall, a very difficult and very painful experience. And some of you might know that I've tried it before. But then over time and over the next 2 seasons, it just kept getting more and more natural. And at the same time, more and more fun. Again, it felt like I was unlocking this new experience in life. Feeling like I was leveling up again. I started experimenting with different things like riding Switch and buttering and hopping over onto the other edge and going fast, trying to ride backwards. And at the end of this season, which sadly was cut short by COVID, I was starting to feel very natural and it was just so much fun. And again, I felt like I had leveled up again. And so I don't really know who this video is meant for and who needs to see this, but I just want to tell you guys that this experience of leveling up and learning things new, to go out and try those things. It might be that class that you need to take or that degree that you want to go get or that new hobby you want to go try or that person you want to go talk to. Maybe you've always wanted to get in shape or maybe you've always wanted to go mend that relationship with the person that you fell out of contact with. But I want to just encourage you guys to go out and try those things. Take this opportunity and don't wait. Just do it now. Because often trying these new things can unlock these new experiences and unlock this new potential that you might have never experienced before. Maybe it's as simple as reading that book you've always wanted to read or reaching out to that person or sending an application in for a job or even getting up and getting in that first workout that you've always wanted to do. But all of these first steps will take you on this journey that will eventually develop you and open up these new experiences that will bring joy into your life. And like anything else, like my handstands taught me, it's always going to be tough in the beginning. There will always be growing pains, but stick with it and eventually you will level up. And lastly, like I'm kind of learning now, sometimes there's life experiences that will force you to level up even when you're not ready or when you don't want to. And sometimes even when you take that first step to try something that you've wanted to, there's always the potential to also fail. And often these things could be due to life circumstances or things that are outside of our control. So whether or not we're forced to do something that we don't want to or we fail at something that we want to try, all of these things are part of this adventure that we call life. And the absolute best part is that when we go through these things that we don't have to go through them alone. And there's always going to be other people that are there to support us, community groups that we can come together to share our experiences, and people to help us up even when it feels impossible. And so again, I just want to thank all of you guys for your supportive comments and how you continue to lift me up in this very difficult time for me and my family. This weight and this feeling of facing the impossible has really helped me realize how important it is to have a community of people around you. And so thank you all for continuing to encourage me, to lift me up, and I hope that in some way that I can do the same for you as well.